So I think it's safe to say that we learned something with the skilling update. And that's that when it comes to these sorts of updates, when they called it new foundations, it was kind of saying that, it's new foundations in the sense that it's a fort, but we're also seeing a set of new foundations starting to work its way into the game when it comes to skilling updates. And if you look at what we got this week, it's very clear on the surface that the Woodcutters Grove with Fort Forinthry this week, I think, has done three things on the skilling side for construction and woodcutting. The first, of course, is that it provides this new construction training method this week that's now competitive with the POH. It wasn't before, but we can definitely say that it's competitive with the POH now, and it jumps ahead of the POH when it comes to a lean forward playstyle. And of course, lingering questions about cost and whatnot will be answered in the short order, but like you said, Tanis, it brings forward that idea of surface world construction playing socially with everybody else that had been talked about when the construction skill was named carpentry way back when it was a dream of the RuneScape team back in the day, but they didn't have the engine to support it. And lo and behold, we see that realized now in the way construction has landed with this. And it really, I think, raises the question. I think it puts the next big question out there is what happens to the POH at this point?
I've wondered, I've wondered about that. But I can't remember if we were mentioning this in pre-show, but reworking the code, from this, it really is building it from ground up, but it's not the mining and smithing ground up.
No.
Kind of, right?
No.
And so you have that, everything still works the same. What you do, you have this major rebalancing and you have a purpose to do it.
Right. Like we said, it's more predictable. Each level sees an increase in XP, and you have a purpose to be doing each thing when you're woodcutting, and then in theory you could Iron Man that into construction and have this neat little ecosystem like Farming Herblore has.
Yeah. And that's, I never realized just how much that's where RuneScape can shine. And I guess it makes sense because it is the thing that initially interested me about RuneScape was how the skills kind of interacted with each other.
Okay.
And over 20 years now, we're really starting to see Jagex is really kind of getting that interaction between skills and small updates or what aren't like whole skill reworks can have the impact of a whole skill rework.
Yeah.
And it's becoming sort of a bit of a skilling hub, this fort. I mean, you've got your cooking there, you've got your construction, your wood cutting. It's starting to bring together an actual little skilling hub with not every skill, obviously, but sort of a good
There's
place
a cave
to train.
there that's looking like you're going to be able to enter it at some point. Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at that, and we do have one little farming patch there. Maybe we'll get something else in the future as well.
Fairy ring on the quest side. So
the fairy ring, yes, I saw that there and I unlocked that.
And we mention all these things, and what that also goes back to is quality of life. Specifically, the fact that we now have the Mkando hatchet, we have the wood box, we have wood spirits, and a lot of this stuff was seen as quality of life. And what's the number one thing we heard in that community hint list when people were put out, hey, we need updates and, we want something like a Ninja Dojo kind of thing, except widespread? Work on quality of life. And that is another thing this update does, which is, we know they're on record as saying that's part of the blueprint for these skill updates. But you look at woodcutting as well right now, and you mentioned the mining and smithing rework. The only real thing it's missing from that style of rework right now is the Overloader Masterwork style of self-craftable item and non-competitive skill nodes. If woodcutting were to receive those, it would be on par with the mining and smithing rework this week. 100%, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And they're things that they can add down the track, so...
Yeah, and I agree with that. And you know, I was just thinking about this during the show. The masterwork or overload item, said item, you know, Incando doesn't have to be the end of the hatchet, right? I mean, now that they have a way to do another hatchet, you could do it like, you know, I mean, because
I want it to be a craftable bow.
Craftable bow.
Yeah, for range.
But that would be more fletching interaction than woodcutting.
I know, but we always say we weren't leaning into the construction side for that, but we can also lean into fletching as well, I think. So I'm on the craftable bow.
I guess so.
And then you could, you know, maybe get some kind of fibers from the trees that you cut along the way, and there's your crafting lean too. And then you combine those together, and then whoa, we got the overload masterwork item. So I want to see that. And we also see with this that they can do now mid-tier skill updates that provide that same feeling of a rework, like mining and smithing did, without needing to, you know, throw the kitchen sink at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's giving it a purpose, and it's doing the quality of life things.
Yeah.
That's what really makes this feel like a complete update, like such an impactful update.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, woodcutting felt like it was just so boring before, and that it was one of the skills that was really stuck in 2005, but not the case anymore with this.